Dr. Steed is a writer, church minister and academic with a varied career in church and charity leadership. Currently, Chris leads in the Counseling and Theology program at London School of Theology. His doctorate in social sciences through Exeter University proposed a new theory of violence. Chris is a member of the British Sociological Association, a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, and is the author of a dozen books and numerous articles. In 2021, he publishes, in collaboration with Eurobooks, a new work entitled The Red Stain of Cain. We have the pleasure to deepen with him today the contents of his new book. Hi, Chris. How are you? It's so good to see you.
Hi, good morning.
Let's talk about the red stain of Cain. What is it about?
So the red stain of Cain is about the violence that disfigures our world. Violence continues to block the human landscape, and it's such a big issue in wherever you look today, whether it's the polarization of politics, whether it's places like Afghanistan, whether it's jihad and war being waged. There's so many areas where violence continues to disfigure humanity, whether it's crime, whether it's war, or what. And what this does, and look, this is going to get worse. We think of the pressures that are upon our world at the moment with global warming, with the pressure upon water resources, and just a place where we can live, where the planet won't be on fire. We need to find ways of resolving violence, ways of dealing with violence, which is just at the heart of humanity.
Okay, you were anticipating it, but my next question is, what are the main themes the book deals with? How can this book make a reader reflect?
So there's different ways that I would ask our readers to think about this issue, which is I'm raising it in my book. And one is the way in which violence is so often mandated and legitimated by faith teachings. Islam, yes, that happens there. We know about violent jihad, but Christianity has had a big problem with its violence as well. And I don't just need to go back to the Crusades of the past. We think of the ways in which in our day, in the last couple of generations, the church has often been on the side of the persecutor, has often been on the side of the powerful, has often been on the side of those who want to trash ethnic minorities. Sometimes the Catholic Church has legitimated people who trash human life. But it's not just the Catholics. Evangelicals in America have so often supported white supremacy, and the voice and life of the black people are brutally oppressed very often. White so-called God-fearing folk were cheering them on when there were lynch mobs. This is a matter of historical record. And the point about this book is that if, thinking about Christian faith particularly, but if you stand for Christian faith, right at the heart of that, guess what? It's the cross. The cross. And the cross wasn't something pleasant that people wear around their necks. The cross was violent and bloody and cruel and sadistic. One of the worst ways in which someone could be put to death, and Jesus embraced that. He completely took upon that, and that shows us that we cannot, if we're truly true to our any kind of faith belief from a Christian perspective, we just can't go with violence, because Jesus was a victim of violence. And
with regard of the content, the themes, and what you deal with in your book, who's the perfect reader? I mean, who would you suggest your book to specifically?
Well, I'd like this to be read very widely. You know, I've written a dozen books now, and one of my other books, if I may just put in a little advert here, one of my other books is called The Seven Songs, and that's just come out as well. And this is a book about how we navigate life post-COVID, post-pandemic. And the thing is, I write to be read, I write to be accessed very widely. Now, there is in this Red Stain of Cain, there is some academic theory. So this book came out of my doctoral work that I did some years ago now at Exeter University. But the thing is, this is not an academic thesis. This is a book which is designed to be read by anyone interested in serious topics. So it might be the reader of a serious newspaper. It might be a news magazine, or someone who is not just going to watch or read like the tabloid press, but someone who will be interested in serious issues and engaging with them. That's the kind of audience I've got in mind here. Definitely not an academic audience.
That's great. It's a book for everyone. I totally agree. Wish you very good luck with The Red Stain of Cain. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Based on the idea of valuable personhood, when something happens that demands recompense, redress, or payment of some form, violence sets up a sort of transaction, a symbolic exchange, in which value is the currency as in the exchanges of everyday life. Can this throw light on Jesus, paying the price for our sins, and expose social sins that condemn violence and actually encourage it? Can we find some theological antibodies? To answer this and many more questions, ask for Chris Steed's new book, The Red Stain of Cain, in bookstores and digital platforms. It's a publication by Europe Books.